So readathons have totally become my thing in the last year. I started out really easy in my kids' school, and then it just kind of progressed from there. The librarian was really awesome, and she sent out like an email to all of the other local librarians, telling them how awesome it was. And so I kind of got a couple people interested that way. And I think so far I've done like I want to say like maybe like 10 or something like that. One of them I did like a mini, or not a mini, I did a book fair, which really wasn't my favorite. I feel like when the kids are in charge of getting the money and going out and collecting pledges and you make it more fun, they're more apt to participate. Like I know our school is too small, so we can't even have scholastics come in because our school is too small. But if there was a book fair and my kids came home and were like, oh, there's a book fair, will you give me some money? It'd be like, here's 20 bucks or something, right? And it's so different when the kids actually are competing to try to collect the most pledges. So I feel like that in itself really, really helps to raise the price of what comes in and what's collected. So I feel like for me, readathons are so much more successful and beneficial financially. And if I'm going to be going back and forth to a school, I really, because I live in the middle of nowhere, so I really want it to be high sales. So this last week, I finished, like I did my shopping days at two schools. They're kind of nearby each other, so I staggered them. So I was at one school one day, and then the next day I went to the other school. And so it worked out really good. And so as far as stock goes, I pretty much bring everything. It's really hard because I try to keep track with like a master catalog and keep track of what's in stock and what's not in stock and only bring what's in stock, but I suck at it. Like I'm really bad at keeping up with the stock update. I miss stuff. Like I don't know. I just can't do it. So I've started just bringing everything. I bring my laptop. I set it up. Kids will just bring me the books they want, and then I like if it's out of stock, I just tuck it behind me and then I don't put it back out on the table for other kids to pick from. But let me back up and go back to what you say to the kids to even get them excited, because that's pretty much the most important part of all of it. So after you've met with your librarian, you've got it all set up, and you go in to meet with the kids, it's just, that's the part where like you're either going to get them or you're not. So I feel super weird because I'm going to talk to you as if you're a bunch of kids sitting in front of me, and it feels weird and I feel dumb. But so pretend you're a bunch of kids and you're sitting in the school. I usually, I just set up my display in the library, and then I have the classrooms come down one at a time. So I might, whatever the classroom split is, I might have like 1, 2s together, 5, 6, whatever the split is, the teacher brings them down. The librarian already has all of the paperwork ready for me, so I just have to basically hand it out to them, or the teachers can just take the packages with them when they go and hand it out. So I just stand there and okay, so this is what I say. I feel really weird, but so I start with, I'm like, hi everyone, my name is Val, and I have a super, super cool job. I get to go around to schools and help kids like you get free books. Have any of you guys ever heard of Usborne before? And I usually get lots of hands up or lots of chatter because some people have heard of it and some don't, and it kind of distracts them. But it's really fun because some kids who have heard of Usborne will get everybody else excited too. So then I say, well, I'm going to let you take a look at all the books that I have, but first I want to explain why I'm here. Has anybody ever heard of a readathon? And then so it gets them involved, and some of them know and some of them don't. And I explain to them that, well, I'll just pretend you're the kids again. So a readathon is where you get to go out and collect pledges. So it's kind of like if you're collecting money for walking for Terry Fox or something like that, but you're going to collect money for reading. So half of the money that you collect, you get to come back, and I'm going to set up a big store with hundreds and hundreds of books, and you get to spend your half of the money. And then the other half of the money, the teachers are going to get for new books for your classroom or for the library, and then everybody in the school can enjoy them too. So all you have to do is take your package, and you're going to go ask people if they want to pledge you for reading. So maybe they want to give you $5 and or $10 or $100. It doesn't even matter, but you just have to make sure that you have really good manners. Say please, say thank you. And sometimes people are going to say no, and that's okay. You just go on and you ask the next person. You can ask your neighbors, you can ask your grandparents, your aunts and uncles, anybody that you want to ask, you just ask them. And then if they are going to give you some money, then you can just write it down on this piece of paper. And I show them, I have the pledge sheet with the reading minutes, and I go through and I explain that all of the information is on the package, so they can take it home. I'll go back to my kid mode. So you can take this package home and show your moms, and all of the information is on the outside and you can read. And so we're gonna do something super fun and have some prizes. So there's gonna be a prize for the student who has the most reading minutes. There's gonna be a prize for the student who collects the most pledges. And then there's gonna be an extra fun, super awesome prize for the classroom that collects the most pledges. So you really wanna work together as a group to try to collect the most pledges, because the classroom with the most pledges is going to win an ice cream sundae party. And of course, you can do whatever you want for a prize. I just do that because it's fun. So go out and have fun and try to collect as much pledges as you can so that you can get lots and lots of books. And your only job for today is that you have to go and look at the books on the table, and you can't leave this room until you find something that you love. And then they always kind of giggle and laugh, and they're like, why? And I said, because I want you to go out and know what books you're coming back to try to get. So I said, and I always say, this is just a small sample of the books I'm going to bring. I just brought a few books, but when I come back to do my shopping day, I'm going to bring lots and lots and lots of books. And then that's what I do. I come back and I do my shopping day, and I bring hundreds of books for all ages, because usually I'm doing pre-K to like grade 6. And so you need a huge variety. So that's like sorry, I locked my son in the bedroom. Not really meaning to lock him in, but I shut the door too tight and he can't get out. So give me 1 second. Are you stuck? Yeah. Come here. Just wait. I'm on a meeting. Come here.
I have a big problem.
What's your big problem?
My
Your TV died? Okay,
Yeah.
Go find something to do. Go play. Sorry. Thought I would distract him, and his little mini TV died. Of course. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. I just go in and I try to get them really excited about the prizes. They always ask me what the prizes are, and I always tell them the same thing. It's a surprise, but you're going to really want it. And then I basically choose the prize based on who the winner is, because, of course, if I buy a prize that's kind of girly, you don't want to give it to a boy. So I base all my prizes based on who gets them. And then I deliver them the same day that I do the ice cream sundae party and deliver all the books. I actually, at this last school that I just did, one little girl, she had the most pledges, $700. She actually went door to door through her entire community and got $700 in pledges. And then she also read all over Easter and got like 1,100 reading minutes. So she won both prizes. So I'm actually just taking both of the single prizes and just making one big one for her. And so what I have in it, actually, I'll just go get it and I'll show you. My prizes really do vary from read-a-thon to read-a-thon. I never know what I'm going to put in it. I used to just do like a free book and then like a coupon for the school's hot lunch program, but I decided to just make it more fun. So I found these really cool slimy goop things at Walmart, and they came in like a pack of 12. So I'm putting one in each of the bags, and I'm giving them a push pop because push pops are fun. I went to Dairy Queen and I asked the Dairy Queen manager if she would donate me 2 mini Blizzard coupons. So she gave me one for each kid, and so there's 4 winners between the 2 schools. So she gave me 4 coupons for mini Blizzards, which I think is a pretty cool prize. And the manager was actually more than happy, because I mean, if you're not going in asking for 100, you're asking for like 2 maybe. So they're really pretty much happy to give them to you. Because it's a little girl, I have like this little pen and paper pad and some stickers that I found at the dollar store. And then I ordered her with some free book credit, actually from the Read-a-thon order. I ordered her an embroidery mermaid kit. So that's what her prize is. And then the other two kids from the other school, they're getting pretty much the exact same thing, except just in single form and a smaller book. I just got them like pocket puzzles. I kind of based it off their list of what books they picked during the readathon to see what they were into. One kid was totally into science, so I got her the science pocketbook. And then another one really liked the fashion stuff, so she's getting the fashion one. But what else? Does anybody want to unmute and ask any questions? I don't know what else you guys want to know. Nobody has a question? Joe has a question. Do you want me to unmute? I can unmute you. There you go. You're all unmuted. No,
Joe's muted.
I swear I did. Okay, just say it. I don't know why it's muting you.
I'll mute myself. There we go.
There we go.
Sorry, I'm licking my fingers. I'm just wondering, this is, I have tried calling a school twice, 3 times already. So is there a specific time when it's the best time to call and talk to the librarian? I've tried twice and my guts are starting to,
you haven't talked to them at all?
I haven't talked to the librarians yet. No, one time they're not in, and the other school never answers their phone.
Oh man.
So
yeah.
I've tried emailing, they didn't answer the email. So
you know what I would do if the school's nearby? I would just show up and ask to talk to them. I mean, I feel like it doesn't hurt to just, if you can't reach them by phone, I mean, you're offering them free books. You're offering them like thousands of dollars worth or hundreds at least of dollars worth of free books. Mm-hmm. I feel like most librarians are happy to at least hear you out. I've been really lucky because like my first readathon generated a couple leads for the future readathons, and then I did phone one school and talked to a librarian, and then I went in and met her. But I have had people say no, and I have had people not answer me. I kind of like, I'm in that boat right now where I emailed 2 schools and they didn't respond. So I'm like, I don't know either. I'm like, I don't want to be annoying, because if they got the email and they're not responding, then maybe they don't want to.
But if they didn't get the email.
Because sometimes my emails go to junk mail, so I don't know. So that's why, like, if you can't get through on the phone, then I would just go. Bring a catalog, bring like an information kit, bring a free book, and just say, would you mind chatting with me for 10 minutes? Because it really doesn't take very long.
Yeah. Yeah, probably do that.
I made a package of like 4 of my favorite books, and then I printed out like what I would have said to them in person, and I just went to go drop it off when I picked my son up. And again, she wasn't there, but I just left it on her. I left it on her desk, and then 3 or 4 days later, I got just a thank you email saying, "Hey, thanks for the free books." So then at least I knew she was getting my emails, and she's the one that responded to me, so she opened up the conversation. So I felt easier, or it felt better to reply, right?
Yeah. So was that recently, or have you got it like planned, or?
I did that in was February maybe. It was like it must have been in March, right before spring break, but right after she just finished a Scholastic readathon, so it was really, really bad timing. But she actually lives on my street, so there's that working for me. So I'll just have to catch her.
I know that there's lots of schools that do Scholastic book fairs, but what we're offering with the readathon is so different that, and because our books are so different, like this one last school that contacted me, they just said they're kind of sick of Scholastics. Like, they have all of the Scholastics books that they kind of want. They're only allowed to pick from like a little catalog. And so like kind of once you have what you want from that catalog, then they don't really want them anymore. And so they love our books. Our books are forever changing and getting better, and there's so many to pick from that they really do love the books. I think the key is that when you go in to meet a librarian, you need to bring like a sample box of the different books that we have, just so that they can see that they're good quality and that they fit in with teachers' curriculum, and that they'll work really well, and the kids are going to want them. Like it's, I don't know.
I think I brought a Look Inside and a reader and a beginner reader and a phonics and then one of the leveled readers, I think. So it gave them a good, it's elementary school, right? So it's a really good perspective of what we do.
Yeah. Well, because we have such a variety. It's really hard to pick just a few, but
yeah. I would have given more, but they were like, I was just giving them away for free. So I was like,
I know. That's mighty generous of you. I actually don't do that. I only like usually bring one book. But I always give like free extra books when I deliver the books for the readathon. I always just say, oh, and I've added in like all these extra ones, just because it just makes us look so much more generous, and then they want you back.
Yeah, it's my son's school too, so I felt okay to do it that way.
Does anybody else have any questions? Has anybody else, like, don't forget, you do have to have your education specialist training if you want to approach a school, which is super easy to get the training done. You have to have your $1,000 in sales. You have to just watch the training video with Carol and then do the little test. And you also have to have the stock, because honestly, if you go into a school to do this readathon and the kids aren't excited about the books that you have, or you just don't have like a good variety, the kids aren't going to be very excited about it. Like, you want them to be like, every time I go and deliver books and do that ice cream sundae party, the kids are already like, I can't wait till next year. I can't wait. I'm going to win next year. I don't know if the school is going to ask me back, but I know that the kids want me to come back. And so that's exciting. And most times they do say like, we would love to do this again next year. So then I just follow up come September and see if they're interested in again. I always try to plan all of my readathons over like a long weekend. So like May long would be good. I know Nadine is really reaching out to lots of schools right now and promoting like a let's keep our kids reading over the summer kind of thing. And so she's really trying to push them to have a readathon right now so that the kids have all of these brand new books that will keep them reading over the summer months. So that's a really great way to do it. I do lots over like Thanksgiving and Easter and whatever, like the midwinter break, stuff like that is kind of usually when all mine are planned around, but you really could do it any time of year. I just find like the kids actually are out seeing family over long weekends, so it's easier for them to have like time to like get pledges and to actually read.
And how long do you keep it open for? Like between your initial intro day and then your shopping day?
So usually like 10 to 12 days. It's just pretty much whatever works on my schedule, on my calendar, but it's usually somewhere between 10 and 12 days. Because you don't want to leave it so long that kids like forget or like lose interest. So I just try to like, sometimes I'll go in like, let's say like on a Tuesday or something, and then they have like that whole next week, and then the paperwork's due Monday. But I don't actually show up to do my shopping day till like a Wednesday because kids are going to forget. Like even on this last one, when I showed up at the school, kids were still handing in their papers. So I always give a couple days in between of when they're due and when I actually come, because nobody ever hands anything in on time.
And then the librarian gets all of those papers and then she gets them to you?
Yeah, well, so I don't live near any of these schools. So for me to drive an hour or 2 hours to pick up the money doesn't make any sense. So I usually have her count it, and she usually just takes like a class list, and then I'll have her write beside each kid's name how much they have in pledges and how much they have in reading minutes. And then so when I come in, she just gives me a photocopy of it. And then when we call the kids in, I know exactly who has what money to spend, and it's easier to see like who the winner is when it's all like on written form. So when I come in and do my shopping day, I don't have it like scheduled per class or anything like that. I come in and I set up, And then we just kind of we'll go to a classroom, whichever classroom she wants to start with, and we'll grab like 4 or 5 kids. I did 2 schools last week. The first librarian, she just like went and brought a whole class back, and there was like 20 some of them. It was awful. Like, she obviously didn't, like, I should have been more clear. I thought actually she read the paperwork, but she didn't. And so I should have just said, do you want to like go grab a few kids? But she brought the entire classroom, and it was like, let's say like grade 1-2 class. So they all ran in and picked something, and then they like formed a line. And then the kids were like bored, and one kid was actually like, had like a reader book, like Titanic or something. And he like pulled the bookmark out and was like spinning it. I'm like, no. I'm like, you need to hold the book nice, or you're going to have to sit on the floor. And so I'm like, you can't do that. You're going to wreck my books. But so when you only have like 4 or 5 kids in, so I set up at the desk, I have my laptop, I have the list of the class, and I have my notebook where I'm just writing the kid's name, how much money they have, which books they pick, and I'm inputting them into WebExpress at the exact same time. So I know that they're in stock. And so I know like that I have the right price, and it just works out easier that way. But it's less overwhelming when you only have like 4 kids, because I always tell them when they come in exactly how much money they have to spend. And then I say, go find whatever book that you want the most, and then come back and we'll kind of work backwards from how much money that you have left. My schools are a lot smaller than what maybe you guys have to deal with. I don't know. Is there like the biggest school I've had was like 120 kids, and not all of them participated. So I want to say like maybe 70 did, or 80 or something like that. So it was a lot, but I don't know. I'm pretty easygoing about it. So I'm like, okay, well, just walk around and pick out some books and bring it to me once you know what you have, or which one you want. Sometimes I have kids who are really worried about, oh, my friend has the book that I want. I only do orders. I know that some people who've been with the company for a long, long time have like oodles of stock, but I don't want to have 20 books on Titanic in my stock. So I pretty much only have like 1 copy of most books, sometimes 2 if it's super popular and I need it for like trade shows, but I usually only have 1 copy. And then, so once the kid shows me which book they want, I have them put it back. That way, well, once I've checked in the system that it's actually there. And if it is out in the system, I take it and I put it on the desk beside me or behind me or whatever. And then it's just gone. Like, nobody else can pick it because they're going to get my copy, and I'm just going to reorder something of the same value and put it back in my bin. It sounds so chaotic, but I don't know. I feel like once you do one, you just kind of know what you're doing. And I didn't actually have anybody to teach me how to do this. I just went in blind and kind of been making it up as I go. And I feel like I maybe change it a little bit every time, but I feel like now I'm at a place where I'm comfortable and I know what I'm doing. Because up until recently, I was doing the master catalog, and I would go through my stock and pull out everything that was out of stock and hope that I didn't miss anything. And it was awful. So I really just recommend just put out what you have, and if it goes, it goes. You can reorder something for yourself. And so I'm waiting right now. I have like a million boxes headed my way, and then I go to the co-op and I get like clear plastic, they're bags for like baking or buns or something like that, and they come with like little zip ties. And so that's what I package all my books in, and you can like tie them with a ribbon and make it curly. You can throw bookmarks in it, whatever you want in the package. I sticker all my books before I put them in the bags, because if it's my kids' school, I don't, because everybody knows where to find me if they want more. But I'm working with lots of schools now where nobody really knows who I am. And so I know that if I put my business card in that bag, it's not going to make it home. Like they're going to rip into that bag either like in the classroom, on the bus. Like my business card is not going to make it to their parents. So that's why I sticker all my books before they go to their house, just in case. I'm trying to think what else is important to know. I don't know. Do you have any more questions? No? Okay. Well,
It's just over the initial
I know.
air of approaching and doing it for the first time. Just like your first party or your first vendor event or your first home party.
Yeah.
And now like getting like a year into it, I'm like, why was I even scared? Like the
it's funny though, because like Jo was talking about how nervous she is about going. I still get nervous every time I call a school or every time I'm going in to meet a librarian. I feel like I'm going to puke. Like I don't know why, because I'm comfortable and I know what I'm doing, but it's because I'm shy and it's like just a new scary situation. I don't know. It's not even scary, because then I leave and I'm like, why was I so nervous to even go in there? Because it's not like I'm offering them free books and everybody's excited.
Yeah, totally.
And I have had schools say no, or they'll say not right now. And so the people who are like a hard no, I don't bother them again. But the ones who are like, well, maybe, then I'll just contact them again and see if the timing is right. I know like sometimes schools, like it's crazy in there. It's busy. There's always something going on. So, but when you really present it as though like you're pretty much doing all the work, I do have the librarians print out all the paperwork, so I'll email it to them and they make all the packages for me and have it all ready. I kind of feel like that's the least they can do, since, you know, I'm driving all the way there and they're getting hundreds of free books that they can just, like, I just ask them like, do you mind printing this out and having it ready for when I come? And they don't care. It's not hard. Sometimes they put it in like brown envelopes. So like what we'll do is just glue the instructions on the outside of the brown envelope and then put the reading log and the pledge form in the envelope. This last school I did, they just used clear Ziploc bags and stapled everything together, which works good. And it was actually probably a lot easier. So
now,
you know.
why would a school say no initially, and how would you combat that, like to get them to say yes, as long as it's not a hard no to begin with?
Well, I feel like it for me, it comes down to like, how am I talking to them? Like if it's via email, I don't know. Like I always try to like, I send lots of pictures of our books. Like I did a book fair once, so I will take pictures of like of some like of my display to show like the variety of books that we have to offer. And I feel like that kind of is intriguing to them, because they're like, oh, it's like our books are awesome. They're bright, they're colorful, like they fit really well into curriculum. Kids are going to be excited about them. So I feel like once they see the books, either through picture or face to face, I think that helps a lot. If somebody says no, I don't know. I've never actually had anybody say no and then like me really respond to it. Like I did have one school who said, we have a local consultant, and if we decide that we want to do a readathon, we'll contact them. That consultant's on my team. She does not have her training. She does not have the stock. So I was like, I reached out to that person and said, look, the school said that if they are going to do a readathon, they'll do it with you. So if you want to do your training, if you want to come learn how to do it, let me know. Because that she can't do it. So like she would have to respond to the school and say no. That was like 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago. So I was kind of, because it's like right the next town right next to the one I just did, I was kind of hoping like maybe the librarians would chat and maybe that would give me an in, but I didn't want to push it because this person was kind of like just adamant, like we would go with this person, not you. So whatever. So just left it be. And I don't know. I probably won't ask them again. I am starting to like do trade shows all over. So I note some parents that go to the school. So sometimes I might just say to a parent, like maybe if you know somebody on the school community council that they might be interested in running it. Because I have had a couple parent community members or council members approach me, and they're the ones that actually organized it. It wasn't actually even through the library. It was through the program because they were doing something to promote literacy that month. So sometimes that's another way to get in, is if you can get in through the community council.
Now you still need your educational training for that though, right? Even though it's through a parent?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you wouldn't want to even like bring it up unless you're trained, because if the school then said, hey, let's do this, then you'd have to be like, well, actually, I'm not allowed to, or I don't have stuff. Like, you don't want to go to a school until you're 100% prepared. And that's what I mean about taking the training. You don't want to walk into a school and be like, well, do you want to do read-a-thon? And then they ask you what you can offer them and you don't know. Because then like you've really just shot yourself in the foot. Because, well, if you don't know what you can offer them, why do they want to work with you? So you really just need to know your stuff. And it's not like it's hard. It's not super hard stuff. You can even just make out paperwork showing like, this is the benefits to doing a read-a-thon. This is the benefits to doing a literacy fair, or just a school sale. If you have one outline showcasing the different things, but tell them that you really love doing read-a-thons, or you feel like that's the most beneficial to them, I feel like they're more apt to go with what you think is going to benefit them the most. And if they say no, they might just be interested in ordering books. So you just never know. Does that help?
Yeah, totally. More questions are forming in my brain, but maybe I'll just PM you because I don't know how to ask them right now.
Okay. Well, we can do this anytime. You can chat with me anytime you want. Nobody else have a question? If nobody else has a question, I'll just stop the recording.